Alright, well, been a long time since I made a video, so I figured it's due time. I think last video I was in the process of making this rotisserie, which I'm still not quite finished with, but it is just about ready. This is a little mix between CJ Pony parts, rotisserie, as well as I think it's Red Wing Steel and another website which I'm blanking on that had a lot of good input on design. So if I would have bought one, I probably would have bought it from there. I'll have to look up the website and post it on the details, but they were the ones that made me go with this clamp style. And went ahead and added grease fittings on both, made it out of Schedule 80 pipe, and the majority of all this is all 3-inch square tubing. Made it to where the outer pipe was cut in section to where it's a guide on both ends, held in by that bolt pretty much. The back end's just welded to this flat piece so it holds itself in. All the hardware is all grade 8, minus anything that's not essential, like these pieces. Not really worried too much about that. I can get grade 8 if I end up needing to, but I put in those quick release pins just so I can break it down. The bottom unbolts, it can store in about, I want to say, a 2-foot wall space. But I believe these are gussets. Went ahead and welded those in for extra side support. Still got to weld up the actual arms that slide on these, which are those pieces there. And I got the rest of the scrap tubing or scrap metal underneath to finish the arms up. But jackable, able to adjust the height. I got a 3/4 inch lock screw. Casters are, I think, 6-inch, rated at somewhere close to like 1,000 pounds a piece. Some crazy number like that. I don't remember the exact. Had my friend make this cogwheel for a lock. Haven't decided if I want to use it yet or not, though. It'll be welded onto the end here, like so, and then it'll have a spring or a sprung pin right here that'll lock it in place, allow it to rotate and lock. More so of a safety than anything. The only thing I haven't quite decided if I want to go forth and do is make the slip piece that fits on top of here with a piece of all thread nut, and then all thread, and then a little ring down here, and you put a 3-foot piece of all thread in with a nut weld to the top of it. Allows you to raise and lower this piece to adjust balance. Easier to do because you don't have to, I mean, you can just loosen up these bolts and then adjust it just like that. I'm kind of iffy on the weight that's going to be on that piece of all thread for the amount of time it's adjusting. It's not going to be left on it, but it scares me that that'll bend and the car will drop. But I don't know if anybody wants to post up what the weight rating is per foot on 3/4 all thread. It'd be nice. It's just stainless all thread. I've seen a bunch of rotisseries use it, but I don't know if it's worth the risk or the effort in welding. But if not, you do it the old-fashioned way and jack it, put chocks underneath or jack stands underneath the car, and then lower the jack back down or adjust this piece back down and rebolt it and jack it up some more, and just keep doing that until the balance is evened out. That way you can rotate it pretty much with one hand, easy peasy. But the other than the arms and the centerpiece, I got to go buy one more piece of 3-inch, I think, and it'll be done pretty much. I did buy another project though, which is what this here is. It's the replacement bumper for my project I bought. I'll go get a little glimpse of it in a second. Got a bunch of spare parts from it lying around. And then, of course, there's the what was left of the front end collision that it took. Texting and driving, not a good mix. And the fender, all I got to do is fix this little tip. I'll be doing a little bit of body work on it. But got the shop cleaned up a little bit and finished welding and painting up these and assembling everything. Got it all greased up. And that was pretty much what I spent today doing. And go get a little glimpse of the project I bought. Oh, and this is the other thing I think think I mentioned I was going to grab next video, was the rust I found in the trunk around the fuel tank, in the corners, and then up by that wheel well, which I'm tubbing the rear anyways. They're doing a mini tub job, but my fuel pump that I rigged up, it worked pretty well. Well, holly blue. And here's the other project. I didn't get a flashlight so you can actually see something. Well, what started out as a front end collision ended up with bent valves. So I ended up pulling the motor. It's a 05 WRX, by the way. The rest of the car was in excellent shape. Guy I bought it from didn't do the swap, but whoever owned it before started swapping out a bunch of stuff to STI. So it's STI seats, the steering wheel was STI, I believe. The shift knob STI, had an STI hood, and the STI wing on it. And there's the motor torn down. The heads had just dropped off the machine shop. From what he said, the motor was rebuilt like I want to say a month before he wrecked it. It's got a stroker kit. It's forged pistons. The heads were left alone, so I'm gonna go ahead and build those. I'm currently furloughed right now, so that's why I've been working on the rotisserie and haven't been getting this back up and running. But little baby turbo there. I think it's the STI turbo. I haven't looked it around to find any markings on it yet, but I'll do some searching on it a little later. But originally it was bought in intentions of fixing and selling. Now I'm thinking about keeping it because I miss my STI I used to have. Fun little cars. But the only thing I got left for this bad boy is the parts for the heads, which should be just the valves. I might go ahead and change out the springs depending on what the guy says, because it was stage 1 cams in it. I don't know if those need bigger springs or not. He said they're very, very mild from the stock. It's not much change, and I'd rather not put any extra money in case I do decide to sell it. So I'll probably just be ordering a set of valves and be done with it. And then of course I got to order the steering wheel airbag and a windshield that's busted. But other than that, I think that's all I have to buy for this thing. A new throwout bearing because it was shot. But anybody wants to throw in some input on stuff that I've mentioned, questions, whatever, let me know. Pulling this thing was kind of a learning experience. I had never pulled a Subaru motor before. Wasn't too bad though. Just follow a bunch of instructionals. Till next time.